All right, you know that moment when someone else bumps into you, but you're the one who says sorry? Or maybe you apologize for, I don't know, asking a totally normal question. It's a really weird and super common habit we have. Well, today we're going to dig into the hidden reason why we do this. And trust me, it's probably not what you're thinking. So yeah, that's the big mystery, right? Why do those two little words, I'm sorry, just fly out of our mouths almost automatically, even when we've done literally nothing wrong? I think a lot of us know that feeling all too well. And the real answer, it's way deeper and honestly, way more fascinating than you might guess. You know, it's so easy to judge ourselves for this, right? To think of it as some kind of flaw or like a sign that we're insecure. But what if we've got it completely backward? What if saying sorry all the time isn't a weakness at all? What if it's actually a super advanced survival skill you mastered a long, long time ago? Okay, so before we dive into the really deep psychological why, let's first just talk about the what. Let's get on the same page and look at this sorry reflex, because you'll see just how widespread this whole thing really is. I mean, do any of these sound familiar? That classic, oh, sorry, when someone else runs into you, or saying sorry just for asking a question, or, and this is a big one, apologizing for just existing, for taking up space. It feels like it's baked into our DNA sometimes, like a total involuntary reaction. And look, this is especially true if you identify as a people pleaser. For folks in that boat, this isn't just some quirky little habit. Oh no. It can feel like a totally automatic, almost uncontrollable reflex. It's like a social muscle that just fires off before your brain even gets a chance to figure out what's going on. All right, so now we're getting to the heart of it all, the psychological why. Where in the world does this powerful impulse come from? Well, the answer, as it so often does, takes us way back, all the way back to our childhoods. Okay, so there's a key psychological idea here, and it's called parentification. It's a bit of a mouthful, but the concept is pretty straightforward. It's basically a situation where a child ends up taking on the emotional roles and responsibilities of an adult. They might become the family peacekeeper or a parent's confidant. Essentially, they become the emotional grown-up in the room. So you might be asking, what kind of environment creates this? Well, it often comes from a childhood home where affection and approval felt really unstable, kind of conditional. And when you're a kid and you feel like love and safety aren't a guarantee, man, you learn fast. You learn to do whatever it takes to lock them down. And this really breaks down how that path is formed. So it all starts with that feeling of unstable affection, right? That can make a kid start to feel like they're a burden, like their own needs are just an inconvenience to everyone else. And from that feeling, guilt can become the default setting. It's just always on. And so the kid's number one job becomes keep the peace. Do whatever it takes to keep things stable. Okay, so let's connect all of these dots. This is the big reveal, the aha moment. This is exactly how that childhood survival tactic turns into the adult habit of saying sorry for literally everything. And I just think this metaphor is perfect. Your sorry isn't really an apology at all. It's a preemptive peace treaty. Think about that. It's a subconscious move you learned to shut down any potential conflict before it even has a chance to start. It's this super fast signal that basically says, hey, I'm not a threat. Please don't be upset. Let's just keep everything calm. And this is really the whole point, right here in this comparison. So the common way we see it is super self-critical, right? We think over-apologizing is a sign of weakness or insecurity, but the psychological reframe is completely different. It's actually incredibly compassionate. It shows us that this isn't a flaw. It's a highly adapted, super smart survival tool that you built to keep yourself emotionally safe. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. This behavior isn't about some flaw you have now. Not at all. It is a direct result of the environment you had to figure out how to navigate way back when. It's like an echo from a time and a place where your ability to sense tension and smooth it over, well, it was absolutely essential. So this really brings us to the most important takeaway. The next time an unnecessary sorry slips out, instead of beating yourself up about it, you can choose to see it in a whole new light. You can look at it with compassion and recognize it for what it truly was, a really clever tactic that a younger version of you came up with to survive. It's not a flaw. It's actually a sign of your resilience. So, I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. If every time you say sorry, it's really a story from your past, what is that story telling you about your present? What situations, or maybe what people, are still triggering that old, deep-seated need to wave that white flag and offer a peace treaty? Because just understanding that, Well, that's the first step to writing a whole new story for yourself.